Hi there, I'm João Lima, editor of Data Economy, and here with me I've got Michael Tobin, an industry pioneer in data center, cloud and data. Michael, congratulations for winning the Data Economy EMEA 50 Top Influencers
Thank
2017.
you very much. Thank you.
What does it mean to you being the top influencer in EMEA?
Well, I think it's a testament of the fact that I've been able to hang on in the industry for that period of time, and all the great people that have worked with me over that period, the teams at Telecity, but also now, there's the Iconic people, there's iAccelerate, every country has got fabulous data center operators, and I just happen to be lucky and be involved in them. So.
And then, of course, we made you the top EMEA 50. Because of your experience. So what has changed over the years? So you work at some of the largest data center companies in Europe, you've been involved in some of the largest M&As, for example Telecity, so $3.6 billion with Equinix. How's the industry coming along?
Well, I think, first of all, thank you for the nominations there, because I think the data economy, especially the emails that I get every day from you, they're like a package of power. They come in every day, Saturday, Sunday included, and I know exactly what's going on with all the big transactions. So they're really, really good to get. But really what's changing is obviously the hyperscalers have become extremely prominent. The world is completely embracing the outsourcing play. The cloud is now normal. And you've got the data center operators in the middle of it, and not all data centers are made the same. You see, some of them are going to very much benefit from this, and some are going to have challenges because of it. So it's being able to identify the right players as well as just being in the data center space.
And then first of all, I know you're a big advocate of Africa and other emerging markets as well. Where do you say are the next hotspots for investment in the data center space?
Well, I think head and shoulders at the moment above everywhere is South Africa. Even in environments where you've got challenging economies and everything else, that the internet just keeps growing at an unprecedented rate. So Terraco there is the standout asset. That's gone from something in the region of 7 or 8 megawatts of power to 54 in a couple of years, and that was a third of Telecity size, in one country, and third of a whole of Telecity, which is 11 countries. So, I think that's a fabulous asset. But I would say that somewhere like Nigeria is even has more promise as a geography. Where you've got 190 million people with an average penetration of mobile of over 70%, and some people have mobile phones and they don't have electricity. That's how important the internet is to them. So I think, going from here over the next 5 years, people with courage will benefit tremendously of investment into places like Nigeria.
And then what do you think of the expression, if data is the new oil, data centers are tomorrow's oil refineries?
Yeah, that's a good analogy. It's a good analogy.
And it's a data economy one, by the way.
Well, perfect. It wouldn't surprise me. It's a smart one.
Apart from the data is the new oil. That one is taken.
Well, and I think when you look at that, you've effectively got the content is the oil, if you like. And what you're doing is you're putting together a bunch of pipes that say, there's content from all these places, and there's people that need content over here, and rather than them all going to everybody, you are a hub in the middle that everyone can come to, and that's what the kind of data center does, right? In a highly resilient fashion, because when you do that, and when everything comes to you as a hub, you sure as hell don't want it to fall over. So that's where the resilience and the sort of redundancy of the data center comes in as well.
Professor, you mentioned high resilience fashion, and were you shocked, for example, by the British Airways catastrophe?
Well, fortunately, it was one of the very few times in the year that I wasn't traveling for 3 days. So I was shocked, but not in pain.
But there were 75,000 people weren't there. So what was your opinion about that?
Look, I think a little bit of naivety from BA's part. They should have come out up front and sort of warts and all. Nothing is 100% guaranteed in life, right? And even when someone has 99.999% uptime, it still allows them 8 hours a year to be down. So we kind of take for this sort of 100% for granted, but there are many things you can do to mitigate outages, especially as they've announced yesterday. Human error was the fault, not a surge of power, and so on and so forth. So human error you can't legislate for, but you can put a lot of roadblocks in the way to mitigate the risk. Now, I wouldn't assume that British Airways would allow me to walk up into the cabin and fly their aeroplane. So they shouldn't be relying on their people to be running a highly resilient infrastructure that, when it goes down, affects 70 million people or 70,000 people.
Do you think they're being naive? They don't understand how critical their own infrastructure is?
I think this is a real wake-up call, and they're not alone. They're not
Okay,
alone.
no,
I mean, there's an awful lot of engineers.
We had those big ones as well.
An awful lot of enterprises that when they go down, they realize that actually just having a data center isn't enough. You've got to have all the things that make the difference between kind of a bit of raised floor and a highly resilient environment. And I think it's when something like that happens, then you see the difference.
Okay, and then the data center industry seems to be changing a little bit as well when it comes to helping the local community, so the community around the building.
Yeah.
And you are, again, a big advocate of helping the community. So just these 40 marathons in 40 days, which is quite admiring.
I don't even run for a bus now, so don't worry.
Well, you did 40 marathons in 40 days. How is the industry embracing the community? How can they help? Are they doing enough now?
Look, I mean, there's a couple of things here, right? So first of all, you've got some extremely valuable businesses that are public businesses. The Equinixes of the world, the Digital Realties, they're trading at tremendous multiples. They're worth 30 plus billion each, right? They're great companies. And when you get to that level, there is responsibility that comes with it. At Telecity, we had data centers that were in places like Docklands, where it's a great place to work, but at nights it's quite quiet. It's you wouldn't want to be running shifts there, and so you've got to look after the local people that are typically the people that are going to work in the data centers, and that sometimes means put a little bit back into regenerating the environment that you're benefiting so much from.
Okay, and then very quickly, what are you planning to do in the next couple of months, especially after winning this award, where you can just tell everyone that you're a freelancer now?
No, well,
everyone knew it.
Well, I'm on many boards around the world. Obviously, I'm on the board of Terraco in South Africa. I'm on the board of Iconic in Spain. I Accelerate in Moscow, which is another great business. Chaiora in Hong Kong, delivering into mainland China. DataPipe, which is the hybrid cloud provision platform in the US. Eurodiesel, which make the diesel engines in Belgium, and so on and so forth. So Pulsant in the UK, chairing that. So lots and lots of different opportunities there, and they're all flying. They're all doing really, really well. And it's about making sure that I spend every hour of my life awake and active, because I think you're a long time dead, and I'll get all my rest I need then. So.
But actually, you mentioned some interesting companies like Iconic, Accelerate, Terraco. Can we expect another wave of M&A in this industry?
I think it's inevitable, we heard Bern Murphy on the panel today saying, it's that the big guys are going to get bigger, and the profitable guys are going to get more profitable. And I think because of the infrastructure involved in data centers and because of the immense capex that needs to be put in, once you pass the threshold and you're throwing off that much cash, your ability to pull away from everyone else is great. And obviously, a quicker way to pull away is not organic, it's M&A. So I wouldn't be surprised if the big guys start to look at new geographies, they start to look at markets where they have holes in their portfolio, and going in and buying, sort of independent operators and using that as the catalyst for further organic growth.
And then quickly finish, what's your next charity work?
Well, I work a lot with children's charities and homeless charities, so I sleep in the street in front of the London Stock Exchange every year to raise money for Action for Children. I do a lot with the Prince's Trust, but I've got another big project, a very big project coming up the year after next, which my wife won't let me talk about yet because she's still trying to convince me not to do it. But the moment I go on camera, she's going to say it's all over, so I need to convince her first. But
Does it involve mountains?
I wish it would. It's worse than that. So there's less people that's done it than have gone into outer space. Let's put it that way. So
we're going to have to wait
more
for
news
that.
on that one.
We're going to wait for that. Okay, Michael, thanks a lot for talking to me.
Thank you very much.
Don't forget you can follow Data Economy on Twitter, Facebook, and LinkedIn, and also visit the website on www.data-economy.com.